What up, YouTube? It's your boy CM the Goat 5, man. Back with another one, you know what I'm saying? We up on these Diddy updates, you know what I'm saying? Um, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, you know what I'm saying? Malone TV News, you know what I'm saying? We in the building. Let's go.
So we know, Ariel, that you've got this client. You plan to file the suit this week. There hasn't been a lot of detail about it, but I think you can reveal a little more tonight about exactly what your client says Diddy did to her. Tell us a little more if you can, even though the suit's not officially been filed.
Yes, I'll have the suit filed sometime this week, probably in the next couple of days. It's just in editing right now, just to get the final touches on it, just to make sure we haven't missed any causes of action. I think as it stands right now, we're at 19 causes of actions, from sexual assault, sexual battery, of course, RICO charges, and sex trafficking. But essentially, my client was raped by Mr. Combs, his bodyguard, and a friend who invited my client to his home to set up this whole situation. The details are graphic in nature, and the complaint lays out all of the details in the graphic, just deplorable way
Okay,
my
Michelle.
client was victimized in that
Yeah,
day,
man.
or in that night rather, and her harrowing
Good night.
escape, and how she was able to finally get away and manage to get to safety after the gruesome attack.
Yeah, and I know that the details are graphic, and I want to be careful. But can you talk a little bit about the baby oil? Because I think people just think it's baby oil, but you are claiming that there may be something else in that, correct?
Yes, so in the suit, there is a part where Mr. Combs is threatening her with a knife and makes her take off her clothes. And then he takes what she believes is some type of liquid substance out of a bag, out of a fanny pack to be specific. And he squirts it at her. And she originally thought it was like acid or something. But then she realized that it was some type of lubricant or oil. She actually didn't specify even baby oil. She just said he just started squirting it at her, squirting it all over her body. And then that's when, after she was covered in this oil, that's when the attack began with Mr. Combs and then the friend. And then in between the two of them, she was squirted some more with this oil. And then the bodyguard then attacked her and raped her as well. But she said over the course of this, her body got more and more limp, and she couldn't figure out essentially what was causing it, because it wasn't as if she was forced any drug. She said she had a cup of water that she took a sip of, and she knew immediately it wasn't just water, but she only took a sip. And she felt that whatever the liquid was being squirted on her had something in it, which essentially debilitated her and her faculties.
Mm. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, because in the complaint, the Fed's complaint, they talk about all of those bottles of body oil. So we knew there was a lot of lubricant, but do you have any idea what may have been in it? Is there something that could have been in it that would have made it so she couldn't move?
So I've done some internal research after I had my intake with my client, and it seems that oil in general is used as a conduit for specific drugs, like, for instance, GHB. So in order to get that to uh, topically take into somebody's body, you need a conduit, which is typically oil. So it seems to me that there were some types of drugs mixed into the oil, which is why he was dousing her in that oil prior, not only to make it easier to assault her, but that was what was lowering her defenses.
Gosh, it's so disturbing. 120 people now we hear are going to be filing lawsuits. We've heard that from another attorney. Do you know yet, are there similarities with some of these other stories, especially in terms of this oil component?
Well, unfortunately, we haven't seen any or heard anything about any of the alleged 120 victims that another attorney has. In fact, I think recently today he came out and started saying some of these celebrities have began the other celebrities he planned to name were settling the cases, which I thought was odd because I do settlements all the time. And part of the settlement is that you don't discuss the settlement. You know, part of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. So unfortunately, I don't know how many of these cases, the 120 cases that lawyer has, will ever see the light of day. I always was skeptical about the number and the types of claims that were being advanced. But I haven't personally, I haven't seen any other cases advanced that made similar allegations other than the federal government's case.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
So we know, Ariel, that you've got this client. You plan to file the suit this week. There hasn't been a lot of detail about it, but I think you can reveal a little more tonight about exactly what your client says Diddy did to her. Tell us a little more if you can, even though the suit's not officially been filed.
Yes, I'll have the suit filed sometime this week, probably in the next couple of days. It's just in editing right now, just to get the final touches on it, just to make sure we haven't missed any causes of action. I think as it stands right now, we're at 19 causes of actions, from sexual assault, sexual battery, of course, RICO charges, and sex trafficking. But essentially, my client was raped by Mr. Combs, his bodyguard, and a friend who invited my client to his home to set up this whole situation. The details are graphic in nature, and the complaint lays out all of the details in the graphic, just deplorable way my client was victimized in that day, or in that night rather, and her harrowing escape, and how she was able to finally get away and manage to get to safety after the gruesome attack.
Yeah, and I know that the details are graphic, and I want to be careful. But can you talk a little bit about the baby oil? Because I think people just think it's baby oil, but you are claiming that there may be something else in that, correct?
Yes. So, and in the suit, there is a part where Mr. Combs is threatening her with a knife and makes her take off her clothes. And then he takes what she believes is some type of liquid substance out of a bag, out of a fanny pack to be specific. And he squirts it at her. And she originally thought it was like acid or something. But then she realized that it was some type of lubricant or oil. She actually didn't specify even baby oil. She just said he just started squirting it at her, squirting it all over her body. And then that's when, after she was covered in this oil, that's when the attack began with Mr. Combs and then the friend. And then in between the two of them, she was squirted some more with this oil. And then the bodyguard then attacked her and raped her as well. But she said over the course of this, her body got more and more limp, and she couldn't figure out essentially what was causing it, because it wasn't as if she was forced any drugs. She said she had a cup of water that she took a sip of, and she knew immediately it wasn't just water, but she only took a sip. And she felt that whatever the liquid was being squirted on her had something in it, which essentially debilitated her and her faculties.
Mm. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, because in the complaint, the Fed's complaint, they talk about all of those bottles of body oil. So we knew there was a lot of lubricant, but do you have any idea what may have been in it? Is there something that could have been in it that would have made it so she couldn't move?
So I've done some internal research after I had my intake with my client, and it seems that oil in general is used as a conduit for specific drugs, like, for instance, GHB. So in order to get that to topically take into somebody's body, you need a conduit, which is typically oil. So it seems to me that there were some types of drugs mixed into the oil, which is why he was dousing her in that oil prior, not only to make it easier to assault her, but that was what was lowering her defenses.
Gosh, it's so disturbing. 120 people now we hear are going to be filing lawsuits. We've heard that from another attorney. Do you know yet? Are there similarities with some of these other stories, especially in terms of this oil component?
Well, unfortunately, we haven't seen any or heard anything about any of the alleged 120 victims that another attorney has. In fact, I think recently today he came out and started saying some of these celebrities have began the other celebrities he planned to name were settling the cases, which I thought was odd because I do settlements all the time, and part of the settlement is that you don't discuss the settlement. You know, part of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. So unfortunately, I don't know how many of these cases, the 120 cases that lawyer has, will ever see the light of day. I always was skeptical about the number and the types of claims that were being advanced. But I haven't personally,
Yeah.
I haven't seen any other cases advanced that made similar allegations other than the federal government's case.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
I mean, what are you hearing tonight?
I actually received the New York Post article from the person who contacted me to sell the tape. They sent me that article. I was not shocked by what I read in the article. I was hoping that even the client that I contacted would reach out and see and kind of alert that person that this was going on and to possibly help them. The person who has the tape really doesn't want to shop it around. They really want to help and give it to wanted to directly sell it to that person, but it seems as if they are going elsewhere.
You know, we know that you've seen the footage. You talked about that last week when you were with us. So, you know, as you know who it is, and I know that you can't tell us who it is for all the reasons, right? But as you know who it is, and as we're moving through this story, and it's starting to really feel like it's unraveling, and you feel bad for the person, and we don't even know who it is there anything more you can tell us about that part of it?
I really do feel bad about the person. Part of the reason that I did come and say something outside of just to protect my own safety, but I wanted to sound the alarm, essentially, bring the dog whistle, if you will, to that person that maybe they should do something about this before it came out. If
Mm-hmm.
I was them, I would do something about this. And the only way to do anything is to do the catch and kill. That's the only way to ensure that it doesn't come out. You know, we're taught that God helps those who helps themselves. So if we have a situation where that person does have the opportunity to purchase the video, if I were them, I would absolutely purchase the video.
Wow. Well, do you think this is going to surface publicly? I mean, are we getting close to that moment?
From what I'm hearing, I think so. I'm hearing whispers that there is at least one major network, possibly two, in a bidding war for that footage. So I believe we're sooner rather than later maybe finding out, unless that person comes and purchases the video themselves, which is really the goal of the people who have the video. They just, at this point, if that person doesn't want to purchase it, then it's going to go on the open market.
Wow. You know, we've been hearing that this has been going on in Hollywood for a really long time. This is just the latest, but this is such a big deal, obviously, for all the people that are involved. Even if the sex was consensual, the footage was illegal, being obtained without the subject's knowledge. So how is this possible? How does the sale and the release of this work legally?
So I think that's the issue here. After reading a Post article, it seems that if the filming was not, the person was not aware that they were being filmed. So with that being said, that comes into a secondary issue of if this person was not aware, which is again why the first goal was not to take it to the open market. But then that's an issue for the purchaser who ends up purchasing the video. That's their legal problem to then overcome, not necessarily the seller's problem.
Right. Well, I've got to ask you, if you were an attorney for this A-lister, how would you handle this? You know, is there a way to make this go away other than the hush money thing. Is there anything that can be done legally?
It's not a hush money situation. There's a thing of value that is for sale. So in a legal sense, the only way to control it is to have possession of it, and to have possession of any and all copies. I saw from the New York Post article that there seems to be more than one person. I don't know who the other person is who purports to have this video. They may just be a copycat who's trying to capitalize off of the publicity and say that they have a copy. Again, I can only be sure of the person that I spoke to and the stills that I saw, and that they do have a copy. But if someone else has a copy, I don't know. I can't attest to that. However, the only thing to do is to control the situation. And the only way to control it is to have possession of it. And the only way to have possession of it is to purchase it. So that's really the only way to ensure this won't see the light of day. A lot of people settle cases, settle things, buy things, do catch and kills every day. This isn't out of the ordinary.
Right.
So if the person is that concerned about this seeing the light of day, where they're praying that it goes away, I can certainly tell that person, I hate to say prayer won't work in this situation.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
Christian King Combs, one of the sons of rapper and music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, is facing his own scrutiny as investigators dig deeper into what exactly happened behind closed doors at Sean Combs' infamous parties. We're analyzing the allegations against Christian, some interesting responses from him as this legal development has continued, as he tries to keep his modeling and rap careers on track. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. The allegations against music icon Sean Diddy Combs are having quite a ripple effect as his family members visit him in jail, or in a detention center to be more accurate. Most of his associates, employees, friends, even immediate family members are all facing questions about what they knew and when did they know it. And some are even facing their own legal action. And I say this despite the fact that these are all allegations at this point. Okay, one of those people includes Christian King Combs. This is Combs' biological son that he had with Kim Porter, who is pursuing his own rap career as well as modeling. 26-year-old is signed with ING Models in New York. He's walked runways in places like New York, Paris, Milan. He released his debut mixtape under the name King Combs 6 years ago, and since then, he's collaborated with other big names in the rap industry, including Kodak Black, Ty Dolla $ign, Chris Brown. Since his father's arrest, though, on September 16th, Christian not exactly kept a low profile. He continues to share videos and photos with his nearly 3 million followers on Instagram, was recently seen attending an event in support of his girlfriend's clothing line. He's also attended his father's court hearings alongside his brothers Justin and Quincy. And as we know, Sean Combs is charged with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution, all very serious felony charges which were filed with the Southern District of New York. Prosecutors allege that Combs was the head of a criminal enterprise that was engaged in illegal activity to satisfy Combs' apparently never-ending sexual appetite. And if convicted, Combs could spend between 15 years to life in prison. Right now, he's in the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center while he awaits trial after 2 different judges denied him bail. Combs has denied all wrongdoing. His legal team says they're not considering taking a plea deal at this time, and their client might even take the stand. His next scheduled court appearance is for a status conference on October 10th. Now, to be clear, Christian hasn't spoken publicly about the charges against his dad specifically, but he seems to have responded via his music. And we told you that Christian and his brother Justin were taken out of Combs' Los Angeles mansion when Homeland Security investigators raided the home in March. They were put into handcuffs as agents made sure everything was secured, but they weren't arrested. They were in charge. Then in May, weeks after the raids, Christian released a new song called Pick a Side. And in it, he rapped, "Police raid the crib like they think we sellin' crack, but we out here selling tracks, multi-million-dollar plaques. Knock these doors down like them Fetty boys running both our cribs. Too bad they ain't know we bought the one next door, because that's the one they missed." Well, after the release, 50 Cent, another rap superstar who's had a long-standing feud with Sean Combs, posted on social media, "Now, why would you say something like this when you know the feds are investigating? Is you stupid or is you dumb? LOL." Something else adding to the drama was a post to social media by Christian's publicist Linda Luna. She wrote in part, "This Diddy controversy is truly so unfortunate. I work with his son Christian as his publicist in the music area. I've been to his parties and after parties, and I've never seen what they are claiming. I do feel like maybe he was trying to change over the past year, but it seems like it was too late and his past transgressions have come to light, and now he has to face the consequences. There are a lot of other powerful men in this industry that I've witnessed do worse, if not the same, as the allegations in this case. So anyways, God bless him and the family and the victims, as they deserve justice for what is truth in all of this." And after her comments were reported on, Luna said the post was supposed to be for friends and family on her personal Facebook page and not as an official statement. Covering all of this Combs family legal developments and allegations can be pretty heavy. So that's why I just want to take a quick minute to tell you guys about something positive. Actually, I think it's something that you're going to really love. The ability to get cash back when you buy daily essentials like gas and groceries. It's called Upside. Awesome app, free app, so easy to use. Upside gets you real cash back, money that appears in your Upside app that you can transfer straight into your bank account. So to give you an example, I use Upside to find a gas station. I claimed an offer. I paid with my credit card at the pump, followed the steps on the app, and I earned cash back. It was amazing. And you can use Upside at all different kinds of places, restaurants, convenience stores. So to find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download Upside or scan the QR code on screen and use our promo code SIDEBAR, and you'll get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. Now, before we even get into Christian Combs' own legal scrutiny, I want to bring on a special guest, criminal defense attorney Fortunato Perry, back in this discussion here. So good to see you. Last time I think we spoke was before Sean Combs was arrested. So there's a lot going on here. Before we even get into Christian Combs and everything, we haven't had a chance to speak. Your firm famously represented Bill Cosby in a very similar kind of situation. As you saw this case progress against Sean Combs, you had the civil lawsuits, you had the raids, now you have the arrest and indictment. What are your thoughts? What are your takeaways?
Jesse, it's good to be here. Obviously it's a wide-ranging federal indictment, and going through it, it sounds like it's going to be quite a defense that they're going to have to put together here. There's no secret that in the Cosby investigations, there were multiple women who made claims of sexual assault. Some resulted in criminal charges. Some resulted in civil lawsuits. So I can see kind of some similarities here when you're seeing what's unfolding with Sean Combs.
Do you believe that there are a lot of people who are cooperating with we know that the government says that they spoke to 50 witnesses, victims, but do you think that there are a lot of high-profile people who have been speaking with the government, who might be cooperating now? One of the things we wonder is after the arrest of Sean Combs, if more people feel comfortable, safe to come forward, even though these are allegations. What do you think's been happening behind the scenes?
Well, from the sounds of the indictment, it sounds like some people have already been cooperating, whether they be high-profile individuals. I think they're going to have to make a business decision on whether or not they want to jump into the fray here and talk about whatever involvement they may have had in some of these parties and get-togethers and things like that. Some may have no choice. Some may be subpoenaed in front of the grand jury, and then they're going to have to answer questions about whatever their involvement was. But it sounds like a lot of these people are going to have to start making some business decisions and get out front before they're going to be playing catch-up.
How would you defend Combs? So he's got the charges right now of racketeering, conspiracy, transportation to engage in prostitution, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. How would you defend against those charges?
Well, obviously, a lot of the prosecution is going to hinge on cooperating witnesses. So that's an opportunity for the defense to cross-examine and challenge these cooperators to see whatever criminal exposure they may have that caused them to then turn and become a cooperating witness. So that's always the first thing you look at here. But there may very well be audio and video recordings that are going to be very difficult to defend if that's part of this case. But I think the first thing you do is see who's cooperating, what exposure they had initially that caused them to get involved in this investigation. But I think it's kind of too early on to see exactly what needs to be done to defend him at this point.
So but we'll get to Christian Combs in a second. What I've heard from his legal team, what we're seeing so far, aside from, you put aside the idea of, say there's no racketeering conspiracy, there's no conspiracy, there's no criminal agreement, there's no criminal enterprise. You say this was all consensual. There was no sex trafficking of victim one. Assuming for a moment this is Cassandra Ventura. She was my girlfriend. Of course, I flew her from A to B. We engaged in sexual activity. Maybe we engaged in freak-offs. I called them freak-offs, but there weren't any sex workers. I wasn't threatening her. I wasn't using force to get her. I wasn't, physically attacking her to be involved in this. I wasn't, even the drug use was consensual. Again, I think his team is saying consent is going to be the main theme here. Everybody agreed to that. Is that a viable defense?
It's certainly a viable defense until you're facing 3, 4, 5, maybe a dozen people telling the same exact story. And now the jury's going to hear the same story from 12 different people. And I'm just making that number up, but if 12 different people said it was not consensual, that we were drugged, that we were transported under false pretenses, that we were going to be working at some kind of a party that didn't involve the sex activities. You can do that one-on-one, maybe 2 or 3 people that come forward. But once you start getting to the numbers,
right,
then I think you have a problem.
All right, let's focus now on Christian Combs. So first, let me ask you, do you think it's surprising that given all this is happening, he's still quite active on social media? He's living his life normal as always?
Well, keep in mind, Jesse, that this is a civil complaint. This is not something, and I'd be curious to know whether or not this was brought to law enforcement, and if law enforcement investigated this most recent allegation.
You're talking about what I'm about to get into, the Grace O'Markey lawsuit. So we'll get into that in a second. But I hear what you're saying. This is a civil case, so he doesn't maybe feel the need to be silent, even though his father's facing criminal charges, and we don't know who else is within prosecutors' orbit.
Okay, so let me backtrack to, I think your question was, should he be out there just kind of living his life and doing his thing, knowing that, there's allegations against his father, that there's now going to be allegations in a civil matter with respect to him. And I think he needs to be careful, because I've represented hip hop artists in the past in criminal matters. And a lot of times we're fighting like heck to keep their lyrics out of the case, lyrics where they're admitting criminal responsibility or criminal liability or, whatever the issues we're dealing with. And we've had a fight to keep those lyrics out of the case. And sometimes you're not successful, and the jury hears what you're rapping about, what you're writing about, and that becomes a problem.
So him, rapping about the raids, probably not the best thing from a legal point of view. And his publicist making those comments that I mentioned before, again, I don't know what the thought behind that was, but that couldn't have helped any situation. I don't believe so, right?
No, and it makes no sense to me why someone in that position would give that type of a statement. It just makes no sense. I mean, these guys now have some very serious, both criminal and civil issues to deal with, and I think now whoever's in their orbit needs to be careful and do the best to protect their interests under these circumstances.
The fact that only Sean Combs was arrested and criminally charged and not anybody else from his circle, and maybe more specifically, not anybody else from his family, does that let you know that they're probably not going to be criminally charged, that they're not implicated in what Combs is accused of doing, or is it too early to say and something could change?
It's way too early to say, and every day in the federal criminal system, the U.S. Attorney's Office issues superseding indictments by going back in front of the grand jury with additional information and just adding on to the initial indictment. So no, I would say it's way too early to say at this point whether or not anybody in his family, anybody in his circle, are going to be charged criminally with some type of a superseding indictment in this situation.
The reason I ask is because Christian Combs, as we were talking about, is facing his own legal scrutiny. On April 4th, this was days after the simultaneous raids at Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami, a woman named Grace O'Markey filed a civil lawsuit against Christian Combs. And according to that civil complaint, O'Markey, 25 years old at the time, says that she worked as a steward on the yacht that Combs had rented, and she was in charge of providing food and drinks for a 12-hour period. This was the yacht that Sean Combs had rented. And she believes that the alcohol on that yacht had been laced with drugs because she says women would have one drink and then almost immediately pass out or start falling over, which is kind of consistent with what the allegations are in Sean Combs' criminal indictment. But O'Markey says that Christian Combs had been staying at a villa on the shore, but then would come onto the yachts in the evenings to party. And on December 28th, 2022, Christian, according to her, arrives very intoxicated and pressured O'Markey to take shots of tequila. She claims that she did, and then, according to her, Christian allegedly tried to get her to drink more in the yacht's makeshift recording studio. O'Markey alleges that Christian kissed her neck and face as he groped her legs, breasts, and private areas. O'Markey reportedly told Christian, quote, "Excuse me, you don't touch my legs like that. I'll move my legs where
It's commercial break. Yo, if you hadn't got my book, man, Malone TV News, you know what I'm saying? See him to go 5. Hustle forward, not backward. You know what I'm saying? Mama made it. You know what I'm saying? You see right there. Mama made it. This is my book, my autobiography, you know what I'm saying? So if you hadn't got that, you can get that on Amazon.com, you know what I'm saying? You can get it also at Barnes and Nobles and all the other stores, you know what I'm saying? Where all the books at. All right. So go get that, man. You know what I'm saying? I pin it in the description so y'all can go out there and, you know what I'm saying, pick it up. You know what I'm saying? Put your order in, or I can ship it straight to your front door. You know what I'm saying? There you have it, man. Hustle forward, not backwards. By yours truly, Charles Malone. Let's go.
where I want to. If I want to do this, then I will. You don't touch my legs like that. Now, this alleged assault was reportedly witnessed by Rodney Little Rod Jones, a music producer who accompanied Combs basically everywhere for a year while they worked on his latest album, Love Off the Grid. And in his own sexual assault separate lawsuit, Jones says he was in the recording studio when Christian and O'Markey were there and might have even had some of the audio from that interaction recorded. So O'Markey says that she tried to go back to her work, but Christian found her again, wanted her to find him a place to sleep for the night. So she took him to the cinema room of the yacht, and that is when she claims Christian stopped her from leaving, groped her, took off all of his clothes, and tried to force her to perform oral sex on him. This is the allegation. So O'Markey's civil lawsuit accuses Christian of assault, battery, sexual assault, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Sean Combs is also named as a defendant. He's accused of aiding and abetting Christian's behavior, as well as having premises liability because he was the leaseholder of the yacht. And premises liability means that you have a duty to keep people on your property safe from injuries. She's seeking unspecified damages in the suit. So let me go back to you, Fortunato, about this. Do you think that this allegation, this incident, Grace O'Markey, this will be part of the criminal case? Because so much of the criminal case facing Combs, we don't know the details. A lot of it is general. Do you think that this is going to make its way into that case?
Jesse, it's certainly possible.
Share the live.
And
Share
I
the
would
live.
love to know
Share the
if
live.
law enforcement
Hit
was
the
ever given
like
this
button.
information before a lawsuit was filed. If I'm defending Christian, the first thing I say is, why did you wait so long to make an allegation in this civil lawsuit? Did you wait and did you see what happened with the father, with the indictment, with the allegations, and then just try and pile on to try and get yourself a payday? That would be my position if I
So
were
just to be clear,
defending
this
Christian.
became out before the arrest indictment, but it came out after the civil lawsuits, after the raid. So there was the idea that we knew he was probably going to be charged, but he hadn't been charged yet.
Yeah, I think it was all part of as things were kind of percolating.
Yeah,
civil cases against them, and we saw what those allegations were, kind of what the details of those allegations were. And my question would be to the plaintiff in this case, why did you wait so long? Why didn't you report it right away? And did they report it to law enforcement? That to me is crucial, because if they reported this to law enforcement and law enforcement kind of poo-pooed it and thought there were credibility issues there, I think that's going to severely hamper the plaintiff's case moving forward. But maybe law enforcement has had this and they've been sitting on it, and they're going to make it part of this whole federal indictment. Then that's where the problems arise.
I also think it's interesting how they structured the case. Not every incident of physical violence or sexual assault is a part of the criminal case. It's more about the freak-offs. It's more about these very specific alleged sexual episodes. And while they allege that basically Combs engaged in a campaign of abuse of women, where the focus remains is the freak-offs. This is not necessarily a freak-off. So it's not. So it makes me wonder how broad their case will be or can be. They're federal prosecutors. They're not state prosecutors. They're not charging sexual battery or sexual assault, but they can include that as part of a larger racketeering case that Combs was operating a criminal organization that engaged in a number of different crimes: sexual assault, kidnapping, sexual, obstruction of justice, arson. So again, I think that part about it is interesting too. Can they, or even will they? What's their ability to include this?
Well, they can either charge it specifically as a separate act under the racketeering portion of the indictment, or they could introduce it as other crimes evidence that Sean Combs was creating this environment where women were being sexually assaulted by people, including his son. Now, right now, his son's not charged in this federal indictment, so they'd have to show that Sean Combs was somehow responsible criminally for what happened with this woman, the sexual assault with this woman. So there's two ways they could do it. They could charge it as a predicate act, or they could introduce it pre-trial as some other crimes evidence of criminal activity.
Interesting. And just generally speaking about this lawsuit that Christian Combs faces, any takeaways from it in terms of, you mentioned it before about her timing of filing the lawsuit, but in terms of its strength, in terms of the idea that Rodney Little Rod Jones might be a corroborating witness to this alleged assault, in terms of the strength of the actual lawsuit, what do you take away from it?
Well, a lot of it is going to hinge on, what I've seen, that there may be potential audio of some of her discussions with Christian. So if they are authentic, that certainly makes her case a lot stronger. But
right.
Rodney's tainted. I think he has his own lawsuit that he's filed against Sean Combs. So if there's some question about the authenticity of this audio of the woman making complaints in real time while it's happening, that's where this case is going to hinge. If you have an expert from the defense come in and say, "Hey, that's not her voice. That's been tinkered with. The audio has been tinkered with," that's going to be a positive for the defense. But if that comes in as an authentic audio recording of her in real time making complaints about what Christian is doing, I think he's going to have a problem defending this thing.
It's a really good point. Look, I'm interested to see where all these cases progress and if they have an effect on the criminal case. We're still in the early stages. I know it's been 2 weeks now, but look, it's still shocking to see the situation that he finds himself in and where it might go. Fortunato Perry, Thank you so much for coming on. Great seeing you. Really appreciate you taking the time, sir.
My pleasure, Jesse. Anytime.
All right, everybody, that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. Speak to you next time.
New images of Will Smith attending Diddy's party have surfaced, causing outrage among fans. As one of the most respected people in the industry, his presence at such an event is a disappointment. Many are now wondering if he supported Diddy's alleged unlawful activities. Could these images destroy Will Smith's career? What did he say about such allegations? So join us as we explore how the new party footage of Diddy and Will Smith changes everything. Will Smith and P. Diddy have been linked since the late 1990s and early 2000s, with the two men frequently attending events together. P. Diddy released his debut single in 1996, while Will Smith released his debut single a year later in 1997. They have both been involved in various high-profile projects and have been spotted together at numerous events. In 2003, the pair were pictured together with boxing legend Muhammad Ali at a launch event for his book. 5 years later, in 2008, they were spotted with Will's son, Jaden Smith, P. Diddy's son, Christian Combs, and actor Tyrese Gibson at the premiere of Columbia Pictures. However, it's not just their friendly appearances that have raised eyebrows. Old pictures of P. Diddy's parties have surfaced, showing a disturbing and objectifying display of women. One particular image from a 2004 freak-off party in Miami has sparked outrage, with a woman decoratively positioned on a table serving as a centerpiece for a food display. Diddy is seen savoring a chocolate-dipped strawberry from the woman, while other high-profile guests, including Will Smith, Bruce Willis, Diana Ross, and Owen Wilson, look on.
Has been incredibly deep and hard to put into words. It goes beyond just physical harm caused by and during the assault.
The party, which was attended by many A-list celebrities, has been criticized for its objectifying and exploitative treatment of women. The fact that Will Smith, a respected figure in the entertainment industry, was in attendance has raised questions about his involvement and knowledge of the events that took place. As the images of Will Smith at Diddy's parties continue to circulate, fans are left wondering, what was he thinking? And why would a religious person like him attend such events? The internet is filled with theories about Will Smith's attendance at Diddy's parties. But what do we really know? Let's explore some of the wildest theories going viral online. The most disturbing aspect of these parties is the alleged attendance of Jaden Smith, Will's son. Fans have been speculating about why Will Smith would take his son to such events, with some suggesting that it was a way of introducing him to the entertainment industry. Yes, you heard it right. According to fans, Diddy's parties have been a way for celebrities to connect with each other, build relationships, and advance their careers. These events have been a platform for industry professionals to network, collaborate, and learn from each other.
All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. Let's go. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. Hey, 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 yeah.
Fans have speculated that Will Smith took Jaden to Diddy's parties to help him advance his career. Jaden has since become a successful actor and rapper in his own right, and some believe that his attendance at Diddy's parties played a role in his success. Online people have been speculating about the extent of Will's involvement in P. Diddy's illegal activities, with some thinking that he may have been more involved than he has let on. Do you guys remember the incident that occurred during the 94th Oscars when Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's hair, which Will Smith took offense to? In a shocking turn of events, Will Smith walked up on stage and slapped Chris Rock across the face. It left the fans in shock, and many were wondering how the situation would resolve.
I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow.
Well, guess what? Diddy played a major role in saving his friend's reputation. He was scheduled to present the 50th anniversary tribute to the Godfather trilogy. Instead of ignoring the situation, Diddy addressed it head-on, trying to lighten the mood and bring the audience back to the celebration at hand.
Did not know that this year was going to be the most exciting Oscars ever. Okay, Will and Chris, we're going to solve that like family at the goal party. Okay? But right now we're moving on with love. Everybody make some noise.
Diddy's comments were seen as a clear defense of Will Smith, and many speculated that it was his way of repaying Will for his loyalty. While Diddy's support for Will Smith at the Oscars seemed like a gesture of goodwill, rumors are now circulating that suggest a more sinister motive. What if Diddy's help came with a price? Was he trying to buy Will's silence? Do you know there are rumors of Diddy threatening Will and Jada? Fans are wondering what Diddy could possibly have on Smith that would make him feel threatened. Let's uncover this rumor. In the early 2000s, Diddy allegedly threatened to physically confront Will due to his belief that Smith and his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, were making inappropriate advances towards his then-girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez. Gene Deal, a former member of Bad Boy Records' security team, recalled an encounter between Diddy and Will Smith, which took place during the time Diddy was dating Lopez prior to their breakup in 2001. According to Deal, Diddy became upset and threatened to hit Will Smith, believing that the Smiths were trying to hook up with J-Lo. Deal walked towards the rapper, who told him that he felt the Smiths were making inappropriate advances towards Lopez. Diddy then requested that Deal remain in his vicinity in case he needed protection.
So I go towards him, and he said to me, he said, yo, I think Will and Jada is trying to scoop up Jennifer. I want you to stay close, because I'm going to snuff him.
In case you don't know, Diddy and Lopez dated on and off from 1999 until early 2001, when the pair split amid strains due to Combs' looming trial on gun and bribery charges stemming from a December 1999 shooting incident at Club New York. Well, according to People, Diddy must be using footage of Will Smith at his parties as a way to threaten the actor. This could be a way for Diddy to exert control over Will Smith, potentially damaging his reputation if the footage is leaked. By using this footage, Diddy may be trying to silence Will Smith or prevent him from speaking out against him. What does Will Smith have to say about all this drama? Did anyone ever try to warn us about Diddy's illegal activities and intentions? Stay with us as we uncover the details. The allegations against Diddy are serious, and fans are eager to know whether Will Smith was involved in any way. As a regular attendee at Diddy's parties, Will Smith's presence has raised questions about his knowledge of the alleged wrongdoing. Fans are demanding answers, but so far, Will Smith has remained tight-lipped. It is worrying his fans, who are starting to lose patience. As one of the most respected figures in Hollywood, Will Smith's reputation is built on his integrity and moral compass. His failure to address the allegations is starting to erode that reputation, and fans are beginning to wonder if he is hiding something. The allegations against Diddy are disastrous, and if Will Smith is found to be involved, it could have a devastating impact on his career. We've already seen what the Oscars incident did to his reputation, and these allegations could be the final nail in the coffin. Well, there are many other well-known figures who warned us about his wild parties before his arrest. In 2019, Ashton Kutcher hinted at the wild nature of Diddy's parties. According to him, he had a bizarre relationship with Diddy. Kutcher explained that their friendship started over a prank on his show Punk'd, and they would often hang out and watch football together.
Diddy party stories, they're our favorite genre of anecdote. If you have one, yeah.
Wow. Okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment. So it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over Punk'd because he was like,
"Don't punk
you
me.
can't punk me," and I was like, "I don't know what to tell you. Everybody's on the table." He's like, "Not me. I'm off the table." And so that started our conversation.
However, Kutcher's tone suggested that there was more to the story, and he seemed hesitant to share details. In a 2014 episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Khloe Kardashian seemingly shared details about attending a Diddy party. According to her, she went there to see the lifestyle of people, but it was too crazy and wild for her.
Court, I got on a plane at 5:30 a.m. Well, this party, I think half the people there were butt naked. You would have loved.
Her comments suggested that she was both fascinated and intimidated by the party scene. Even singer Usher recalled living with Diddy for a year in the 90s and attending some of his parties. When asked if he would let any of his kids attend one of Diddy's parties, Usher declared, "Absolutely not."
Dad, now, would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
Not only Usher, even 50 Cent has been vocal about his discomfort with Diddy's parties. He claimed that Diddy made him uncomfortable with his illogical statements, including one time when Diddy asked him to go shopping together. 50 Cent looked at him like, "What did you just say?" and seemed infuriated by the comment. Last but not least, Cat Williams claimed that he turned down a staggering $50 million offer to attend one of Diddy's parties. Williams stated that he had to decline the offer 4 times in order to protect his integrity. He didn't want to compromise his values and humorously mentioned he wanted to maintain his dignity intact, implying that attending the party would have required him to do something that went against his principles. It seems like celebrities were pressured to attend his wild parties. Williams also hinted that more celebrity scandals would soon come to light. Guess what? He was right. The comments from these celebrities indicate a pattern of behavior from Diddy, one that is both wild and uncomfortable. While some stars have been drawn to Diddy's parties, others have been put off by the energy and atmosphere, as everyone has their eyes on Diddy. Recent developments in his case are disturbing. What was his response to these allegations? How has his legal team responded to the allegations?
You know, every day until he's out, I will be here with him working on his defense.
Will these allegations affect his career and business empire?
A long time.
Let's take a deeper look into this. The case against Diddy continues to unfold with new developments emerging in recent weeks. The disgraced singer has been named in over 10 lawsuits, all of which allege inappropriate conduct, coercion, and extensive use of controlled substances. Last month, he was indicted by a grand jury and later arrested on federal charges related to racketeering and trafficking. He was taken into federal custody in New York and has been denied bail twice. Diddy is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn while awaiting trial. The latest lawsuit against Diddy was filed by Danity Kane member Dawn Richard, who alleges that Diddy behaved inappropriately and unlawfully confined her, and threatened her life when she tried to defend his then-girlfriend Cassie. Richard's allegations are just the latest in a growing list of accusations against Diddy.
There's basically just, someone who brought a civil case and...
Recently, a list of 120 serious misconduct allegations has been filed against Diddy. You will be shocked to know that the complaints against Diddy stretch back to 1991, with the youngest alleged victim being just 9 years old. 25 others claim they were minors at the time of the alleged incidents. According to attorney Tony Busby, who is representing the case, a list of individuals allegedly associated with Diddy is expected to be made public soon. Busby hinted that the list includes well-known figures. The list is expected to be released as part of a series of significant new lawsuits, which will be filed across multiple states in the next 30 days. According to accusers, Diddy's well-known white parties are linked to hotels with controlled substances frequently mentioned. His parties in Ibiza were the epitome of hedonism and excess. The rapper's fixer, who worked with him during his visits to the island, has revealed the extent of Diddy's wild benders and the lengths to which he would go to ensure that his parties were the most talked about events in town. His fixer recalled that no expense was spared when it came to organizing these events. From the moment Diddy and his entourage arrived on the island, they were treated to the best that Ibiza had to offer. This included luxury cars, tables at the most exclusive clubs, yachts, and even private security. Moreover, his parties were a magnet for beautiful young women, and his fixer would often be tasked with selecting the most attractive guests to join the rapper and his friends at his villa. These parties would often go on until the early hours of the morning, with guests indulging in various substances. It is also revealed that Diddy was very particular about his drinks, and his fixer would often have to ensure that his favorite vodka, Ciroc, was always on hand. The rapper was also very fashion conscious and would always dress immaculately, even when partying. Diddy's fixer also revealed that the rapper would often bring a special bag with him on his trips to Ibiza. This bag contained a variety of playful items and accessories intended to add an extra layer of thrill to his parties. Well, Diddy has denied all accusations and entered a not guilty plea to the criminal charges. His team has maintained that the allegations are false and that Diddy is innocent.
He's innocent. He came to New York to establish his innocence. He's not afraid.
But what impact will these allegations have on his career? It will have a significant impact as he has been dropped by several business partners and has faced widespread backlash on social media. The case has also raised questions about the culture of the music industry and the ways in which powerful individuals can use their influence to exploit and abuse others. Diddy's legal team is fighting for his release after the third denied bail request by filing an appeal and adding prominent attorneys Anthony Rico and Alexandra Shapiro to the trial team. They had offered a $50 million bail package with conditions to address the government's concerns about his potential danger to the community. The conditions included Diddy wearing a GPS monitoring device at all times, being restricted to his home except for court appearances and meetings with his lawyers, being prohibited from contacting the alleged victims or witnesses in the case, and having no female visitors outside his family. The government has expressed concerns about Diddy's potential danger to the community, arguing that his wealth and influence make him a flight risk and that he has the resources to intimidate or harm the alleged victims and witnesses in the case. U.S. District Judge Andrew Carter denied Diddy's request for bail, stating that the government has proven the defendant is a danger. The judge's decision was based on the government's evidence, which included testimony from the alleged victims and witnesses, as well as records of Diddy's past behavior. Diddy remains in custody as his legal team continues to fight for his release.
But before we move further, let's rewind a bit. What relationship did Diddy have with Justin Bieber? What was Bieber doing spending so much time with Diddy as a teenager? And why is this raising concerns now? That's where we're heading next. So don't go anywhere. Early connection between Diddy and Bieber. The relationship between Sean Diddy Combs and Justin Bieber stretches back to when Bieber was a teenager, and it has now come under heavy scrutiny. When Bieber was only 15, he found himself spending time with Diddy, who was over 40 at the time. One of the most discussed moments from their time together is a resurfaced 2009 video where Diddy talks about how he was given custody of Bieber for 48 hours.
I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me, so.
Diddy even jokes about going full crazy and not being able to disclose what they were doing during the time. Although at the time, this might have seemed harmless to some, in light of the serious allegations against Diddy, fans are revisiting these moments with growing concern. Several videos have resurfaced in the wake of Diddy's sex trafficking charges, and fans are now viewing them in a much darker light. In the 2009 clip, Diddy makes cryptic remarks about spending time with Bieber, which many find unsettling. Diddy, an established industry mogul referring to Bieber as being under his custody, has raised serious questions, especially now that Diddy faces allegations of exploiting vulnerable individuals. Another clip from a 2016 party has also gone viral, in which Bieber, visibly awkward, smiles as Diddy talks about their plans to go out and get some girls. While these moments were perhaps brushed off at the time as part of Bieber's rise in the entertainment industry, they now add fuel to conspiracy theories about what was really happening behind the scenes. Fans are questioning why a teenager was spending so much time in such situations with someone far older, and whether Bieber might have been taken advantage of. The reaction from fans in the media has been swift and critical. On platforms like X, formerly Twitter, users are expressing their shock, calling the videos creepy and disturbing. Some fans are openly wondering why no one stepped in to protect Bieber during his teenage years, particularly given Diddy's influence and wealth. Bieber's apparent discomfort in the resurfaced clips has only added to the concern, with many seeing it as a sign that something more sinister may have been happening. Despite the growing attention surrounding these videos and the charges against Diddy, Justin Bieber has remained conspicuously silent. Sources close to him suggest that Bieber is focused on his family and personal life, especially after recently becoming a father. However, fans are left speculating about the reasons behind his silence. Given Bieber's traumatic experiences in the music industry, which he has spoken about in the past, some wonder if there is more to the story than meets the eye. Bieber's decision to not publicly address the issue has left a gap that fans and critics alike are eager to fill. Whether he is avoiding the controversy to protect his own mental health or to distance himself from Diddy's legal troubles remains unclear. Still, his silence only adds more layers to the mystery surrounding his past relationship with Diddy. But while fans speculate, the legal case against Diddy continues to evolve. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the latest bombshell testimonies and new developments that could send shockwaves through the entire music industry. Could these new testimonies reveal more high-profile names involved? What other shockwaves might these developments send across the entertainment industry? Stick around, because it's about to get even more explosive. Broader news about the case and new developments showing Diddy Combs' legal issues reached a new height in September 2024, when he was formally arrested and charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and running a criminal enterprise. The charges stemmed from a long-running investigation that began in 2023 after Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former girlfriend, filed a lawsuit accusing him of years of physical and sexual abuse. Federal authorities raided Diddy's homes in Beverly Hills and Miami, uncovering disturbing evidence that tied him to a network of exploitation. One of the most significant elements of Diddy's legal battle is the growing number of testimonies from alleged victims. Some victims have claimed they were coerced into participating in freak-off parties, events allegedly orchestrated by Diddy that involve drugs, manipulation, and sexual exploitation. These testimonies provide a detailed and disturbing account of the culture of abuse that Diddy allegedly fostered within his inner circle. Perhaps most shockingly, some male sex workers have come forward with claims of exploitation, complicating the case even further. Their accounts point to a broader, more systematic form of abuse, where both men and women were subjected to Diddy's control. These testimonies could be pivotal in securing a conviction, especially given the weight of the accusations that have now been made public. There has also been significant discussion around the broader implications of the case for the entertainment industry. Some argue that Diddy's arrest is part of a larger reckoning within the music world, echoing the impact of the #MeToo movement on Hollywood. They say the power dynamics at play are finally being exposed, and more individuals might soon be held accountable for years of unchecked abuse. As the legal proceedings move forward, there are a few possible outcomes for Diddy. Some legal experts believe that, given the severity of the charges and the growing pile of evidence, Diddy may seek a plea deal to avoid the lengthy and damaging process of a full trial. If he does go to trial and is convicted, he could face decades in prison, effectively ending his career and leaving his legacy in tatters. On the other hand, Diddy's legal team is working tirelessly to challenge the charges, claiming that the allegations are part of a coordinated effort to tarnish his name. They have suggested that Diddy is a target because of his wealth and influence. So, what does this mean for Diddy's once untouchable career? And is there a deeper connection linking him to other high-profile figures with similar allegations? That's exactly what we're about to explore as we dive into Diddy's unsettling links to Jeffrey Epstein, the Epstein connection. Now let's dive into one of the most shocking aspects of the Diddy case, the growing conspiracy theories linking him to Jeffrey Epstein. Both men stand accused of deeply disturbing operations involving the exploitation and manipulation of vulnerable individuals, which has led many to draw parallels between their cases. First off, the accusations against Diddy share some eerie similarities to those levied against Epstein. Both men are alleged to have used their wealth, power, and vast networks to exploit women and young people. Epstein's notorious parties on his private island involved high-profile guests, underage girls, and allegations of sexual trafficking on an international scale. Diddy, while not accused of the same kind of global trafficking, is said to have hosted similar freak-off parties, where drugs, manipulation, and sexual abuse were rampant. Some conspiracy theorists Theorists argue that Diddy's parties were smaller scale but reflected the same power dynamics and exploitation as Epstein's infamous gatherings. In both cases, we see a pattern of using social influence to draw in not only victims but other powerful individuals who either turned a blind eye or participated. For many conspiracy theorists, the parallels are too striking to ignore. Conspiracies run wild when high-profile figures like Diddy and Epstein are involved, largely because of the secrecy surrounding their personal lives and the hidden nature of their alleged crimes. In the case of Epstein, leaked flight logs and testimonies revealed a long list of famous guests, from politicians to actors. The question some are now asking is, was Diddy on that list? Could he have been involved in similar activities? As of now, no one has uncovered any verifiable proof of Diddy visiting Epstein's island. But in the court of public opinion, that hasn't stopped the rumors from spreading. Some argue that the legal trouble Diddy now finds himself in could be a result of trying to cover up connections to a much larger, more sinister network, a theory that draws disturbing parallels to how Epstein operated before his arrest.
Well, I have kept this secret for like 14 years. I mean, the first time I experienced it was 2010.
One of the most gripping conspiracy theories about both Diddy and Epstein is the idea that they ran blackmail networks. In Epstein's case, it's widely speculated that his lavish parties were a front for a larger operation designed to capture compromising material on the rich and powerful. Hidden cameras, secret recordings, and vulnerable guests. These were allegedly used to exert control over high-profile individuals. Similarly, some conspiracy theorists believe that Diddy's freak-off parties could have served the same purpose. The theory goes that these parties weren't just for Diddy's pleasure, but were elaborate traps set up to blackmail others. The events were allegedly recorded, with video evidence of powerful guests engaging in illegal or immoral acts. This supposed leverage could be used for business deals, political favors, or simply as insurance to keep people loyal. Of course, like many conspiracy theories, this one is rooted in speculation rather than concrete evidence. But given Epstein's well-known use of blackmail, many believe Diddy might have adopted a similar strategy, using his influence to manipulate not just victims, but fellow celebrities and business leaders. But this conspiracy goes deeper. Could Diddy's downfall be linked to powerful figures trying to cover up their own involvement? And are there more connections between Diddy and Epstein that have yet to surface? Follow along as we look into how Epstein's mysterious death may have set the stage for the danger Diddy now faces behind bars. Epstein's death and risks for Diddy in jail. Let's talk about one of the most controversial elements in the Diddy case, the risks he faces while in jail, and how it mirrors the situation of Jeffrey Epstein before his death. The parallels between their cases have fueled even more speculation and conspiracy theories. Jeffrey Epstein's death in 2019 at the Metropolitan Correctional Center, or MCC in Manhattan, sparked intense controversy. Officially, his death was ruled as self-inflicted, but from the start, many people suspected foul play.
Breaking news this hour, officials say multimillionaire Jeffrey Epstein has taken his own life.
Epstein, who was facing sex trafficking charges involving minors, had powerful connections across politics, entertainment, and finance. The idea that he could have been murdered to protect others involved in his criminal activities spread quickly. The fact that Epstein had previously been on watch but wasn't monitored properly at the time of his death only added to the public's distrust of the official story. Many believe he was silenced to protect high-profile individuals linked to his trafficking ring. Now, fast forward to 2024, and we see similar concerns rising with Diddy. After his arrest on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering, he was placed in the Metropolitan Detention Center, or MDC in Brooklyn, a facility notorious for harsh conditions and previous incidents of inmates taking their own lives. As with Epstein, people are worried about Diddy's safety while he awaits trial. Could Diddy be at risk of being silenced the same way conspiracy theorists believe Epstein was? These questions have been floating around online, with some even using the term Epstein to describe the potential danger Diddy faces while in custody.
The biggest thing with all this is he going to get Epsteined.
There had to be some real celebrities that were there.
Well, he has
involved?
tapes on people.
In response to these concerns, Diddy has been placed on watch, despite reports that he isn't showing any signs of self-harm tendencies. According to his legal team, the decision is routine for high-profile inmates facing serious charges, and it's meant as a precautionary measure. But many are skeptical, viewing it as eerily similar to what happened to Epstein. So, what is being done to ensure Diddy's safety? Since his arrest, Diddy has been under close watch at the MDC, a facility that has been criticized for its unsafe conditions. The jail has struggled with violence, poor staffing, and several instances of self-harm in recent years. To mitigate the risks, Diddy has been placed in a special housing unit, or SHU, which provides heightened security and isolation from the general inmate population. These units are designed to protect inmates at risk of harm, either from themselves or others. In addition to his placement in the SAHU, Diddy is being monitored 24/7 by prison staff. This includes regular checks, constant video surveillance, and the use of a safety smock, a garment that cannot be used for self-harm. These measures are intended to prevent any incidents, especially given the high-profile nature of his case and the global attention it has drawn. However, while these precautions are in place, the Metropolitan Detention Center itself has been described as hell on earth by former inmates and critics alike. Reports detail overcrowding, frequent lockdowns, and a lack of basic services, raising concerns about whether the facility is truly equipped to prevent another tragic incident like Epstein's. Diddy's legal proceedings. It all started in September 2024, when federal authorities arrested him in New York on serious charges, sex trafficking, racketeering, and more. According to the indictment, Diddy allegedly ran a criminal enterprise for years that used his business empire, Bad Boy Entertainment, to facilitate these activities. We're talking forced labor, sexual exploitation, and even intimidation tactics to keep everything under wraps. These freak-off parties, which Diddy reportedly organized, were said to be wild gents. The indictment suggests this behavior goes back years, potentially as far back as the early 2000s. For nearly a year, Diddy had already been battling multiple civil lawsuits accusing him of sexual misconduct. Things escalated when federal investigators raided his properties, turning up disturbing evidence of a larger network of abuse. So what's the fallout? Well, Diddy's career has been flipped upside down. His business empire, including Bad Boy Records and ventures like Ciroc Vodka, has come under intense scrutiny. Not to mention, the credibility and legacy he spent decades building are now at risk of being completely dismantled. And despite his legal team insisting he's innocent, Diddy has been denied bail. Twice.
Back in federal court today in Manhattan, this time trying to secure bail. The music mogul was denied bail yesterday.
Prosecutors argued that his wealth and connections made him a flight risk, not to mention the risk of witness intimidation. While some fans are holding out hope for his innocence, the evidence seems to be stacking up, and his once glamorous life is now mired in scandal.
We know sometimes those relationships get ugly, and sometimes it doesn't come out into the forefront the way this one has come out.
Welcome to Ms. Mojo. And today, we're rewinding several interviews that retroactively left us asking, what did Diddy say?
You're going to hear about my party. They're going to be shutting them down. They're going to probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we want to have a good time.
Representing The Wendy Williams Show. After Hot 97 fired Wendy Williams in 1998, she accused Sean P. Diddy Combs of using his money and influence to, quote, try to crush her in New York. Almost 2 decades after their beef started, Williams welcomed Diddy onto her talk show, seemingly on good terms.
I know I pissed a lot of people off, including you.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a full circle moment, everybody.
Yes.
Get into adult conversation.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Yeah.
While Diddy presents himself as someone who's matured into a role model, several moments are now traced with irony. Williams inquires about Diddy's lifestyle and the people he surrounds himself with, asking if they, quote, violate him. She meant financially, but her phrasing proved prognostic.
You threw a house party and I got the footage, okay? Look at this. Now, who has this many people at their house? Puff and or Sean, Diddy, Doody, what do I call you?
Diddy later discusses setting a positive example for African American males and his charter school, Capital Prep. Diddy's partnership with the school unsurprisingly ended in November 2023 as sexual assault accusations surfaced.
Our children are expected not just to learn to read, write, and compute, but to use that which they've learned to improve their community.
Defending Justin Bieber, Access Hollywood. The allegations against Diddy have made people reassess his relationships with several young proteges.
We're gonna go somewhere else, because this one really, really long. I wanted to see something different. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Why did I do that? Didn't mean to. Don't. There we go. Let's see what we got. Y'all share the live, man. Hit that like button.
To say it because y'all scared. I'm gonna be the first one to admit what's really going on here. People can't stand to see black men having fun.
Hold on, I don't even. I'm gonna go, because this dude right here is really like a fake. I don't know what he be doing. That he be tripping, bro. Let me see. Let me go back out. Let's see what we got. I hit that like button, man. Y'all share the live, man. Share the live. I'm going back.
Of invading.
I didn't want to go back to that one either. Let's see what Jaguar Wright talking about.
Gusto is the #1 choice for small business payroll. It's fast. It's trusted. It's a great value. And Gusto does a lot more than payroll to make running your business easier, like payroll taxes and compliance, time tracking and contractor payments. And when you're ready, benefits, HR, and
I just want to keep her safe.
Yeah.
What do you think he went through?
Because he knows what's been happening to Billy. Just like everybody knew what was happening to Millie Bobby Brown girl with Drake. These people are monsters.
Real life. It ain't real life. Just ain't real. Real life street stars. You know what time it is.
That's a real life street star, man.
Real life street stars. Hold on. They might not have saw this coming, but I'm sure they saw it coming. It's been 3 days. 3 point something million on Pierce Morgan.
Yeah.
Jaguar Wright has the world's attention as we speak. The last time we spoke, it was virtually.
Yeah.
And Diddy had been arrested, which made the world stop.
Yeah.
And take a moment and say, wait a minute. There's been a lady speaking about these things for years.
He turned the whole world into Ray J. Wait a minute. Yup, he did. Yeah, he did.
And first and foremost, we have to say we appreciate you coming here next, because that gives us validity in the sense that Piers Morgan, thank you. But really, this moment right here is where we really get what y'all are coming here to see, and what we call what would you call this kind of information that you put out, Jag? What?
Real shit.
There you go. There you go. Now, before we get started, I'm looking at your drip. I'm looking at your clothing.
Yeah.
And that looks somewhat. Is that Haley Bailey?
Well, someone asked me where to get this T-shirt from because they thought it was Haley Bailey.
Yes.
And it's not. This is me. This is 23-year-old Jaguar Wright. First photo shoot. Baron Claiborne shot it. Jay Manuel from America's Top Model did the makeup. Solange, the braider from Manhattan, did the hair. And I can't remember her name, but she was called Miss 7th Avenue, and she literally stitched that leather garment practically onto my body right before we shot it. But when I heard the girl at the store say, "I love her," and I said, "Well, that's me," she said, "Oh, I thought that was Chloe Bailey." It got me to thinking. Now, me and Chloe Bailey's career has about 20 years in lapse, time gap. And yet, she looked like me. This is what they do to us. They turn us into a figure. They turn us into an archetype. They get the image that they know will work for the public, and then they keep creating replica after replica after replica in real time. Shout out to Chloe Bailey. How about this? Your rose. Just find a man who loves buying you flowers.
Come on. Man, and
cruelty-free.
Cruelty-free, as you can see.
Available in the real life market.
There you go. Yes. And as our fans who really want to also support you, of course, you have your own support system as far as your website, your Cash App, things of that nature, but also the proceeds do go to Jaguar Wright and the Jaguar Wright Foundation, wherever she
And
wants
my
to go.
legal defense fund, which
Correct.
is most imperative right now. With 2 business deals, 2 companies, Profits Plus BB Films.
Now hit that like, share, and subscribe button.
And
Also hit the cash
view
app
it.
down at the bottom of the screen.
Both of them were brought to me by people that I considered trusted allies.
Donate to that cash app.
And both deals were corrupted.
It keeps everything going around us.
Now, I'm not going to blame the people that brought the deals to me. How could I expect them to know? But to consistently keep being courted to do business with people who keep things secret, like, oh yeah, we work with Rock Nation, or oh yeah, Cuba Gooding Jr., full on Diddy Doo-Wop Bop, sits on the board. If I had have heard those names in those first meetings, there's no way I would have gone through with those deals. I don't do business with people who do business with the devil. So why did they keep it secret? Why did I have to find out? Why did I have to do extra research that wasn't available upon meeting these companies? And I'm gonna tell you why. Because my enemies pay good money to make sure I can't be successful. And if you don't believe me, ask Dame Dash. That's what's been happening to him. Hi, Dame.
Oh, stay right there. Stay right there. So
Thanks for the shout out. Sorry you've been getting sued. I haven't.
And we're gonna go back to Dan because he said, how come they haven't sued Jaguar Wright? A lot of people are saying that. So let's just start with Piers Morgan because there's a headline that went out that was very powerful that people are running with, where it just says Jay-Z is the real monster. Now, before you speak on it, to even get to Piers Morgan, can you explain how that took place and why even take that interview to go forward?
Well, excuse me.
Bless us.
I can't say that I sought it out because I didn't. Truth is we didn't see it coming. But I have to credit Odell.
Got Odeezy.
My love. I have to credit him because since we've combined and joined forces and become a hell of an investigative journalism team. See, I'm the content, I'm the passion, I'm the voice. I'm also the brain, but I do too much by myself. That's the brain. That's the administrator. That's the bloodhound. And he, there were so many people that hacked into so many of my accounts. People didn't even know how to get in touch with me anymore. And Odell created that lane. And they reached out to him. Piers Morgan's producers called him directly. And we talked about it briefly, and I said, we have to do it. We have to. Because the one thing I know about Piers Morgan is he is smart prey. And not only is he smart prey, he is a great conductor of information. He also vets things viciously. And I want to thank you for that. Because if my word is good enough to make it through Piers Morgan's firewall of please don't sue me, then I guess he just vetted me for every ounce of real life content on this blue couch. We thank you for that.
Do you feel that Piers Morgan allowed you to get, because you only have so many minutes. I know you don't know exactly how the show is going to be structured.
Yeah.
Did you get what you want to say out? And was there more for you to say? Of course, there's more to say.
I'll never have enough to say.
Right.
There will never be enough screen time for me to say. But what I will say is, I'm grateful for the questions he asked. I'm grateful for the time he gave me to answer. And I pray that I was able to hit everything that needed to be hit for the public.
How did you feel about Vlad going after you?
I loved it. I saw the lineup immediately.
Right.
Especially when I saw the lawyer, Ariel, kid that came after.
Right.
What Pierce did was brilliant journalism.
Right.
He created a beef without there being one. And he created multiple episodes for confrontation after. It's brilliant.
It is, Vlad has said you're a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
And he has never wanted you on a show. He has never reached out to you.
You know what? Hold up. Drum roll. Where do I find that receipt?
Oh, we got, is there? On email.
Let me check.
Yeah, there's receipts?
No, it's on your YouTube, right?
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
let me go over here to my baby's channel, Set in the West.
Sometimes, the only thing more difficult than running a business is finding the right words to market it. Lucky for you, our new AI content generator doesn't sweat words. Just tell it what you want to create, enter a few details.
Shout out to
Set in the West, running the numbers up. Go there for all the exclusive.
You know, it's so funny. I love bigging his channel up.
Yeah.
I love it. I do. I love it. I love having a man that not only do I agree with his content, but it's great. And I can be like, ooh, my man over there doing, get over there.
I love to see something from scratch, turning up, going from
right.
I mean, it's already something, but to just see it rise to the verge. No Diddy. I love to see that.
Yeah, no, he's as much of an information bloodhound as I am. Is it in?
It's after.
Why does it say stash?
What?
That's not you.
Set in West Doc.
Oh no, somebody else covered it. Got it. The channel. I forgot I had to resubscribe again. I have so many
Jay,
channels.
come on, man. Jay, you gotta
deleted.
be subscribed to Send the Wiz.
I know. I didn't realize I didn't subscribe on this phone. No, because they get deleted and I keep moving and I forget.
Oh man.
Okay. Is it on the community feed, baby?
Yeah.
It's a video. Oh.
What is the video of? If you
Hold
don't
on,
know?
let's see. Oh, DJ Vlad, you're wrong.
Oh shoot.
Is that it?
Oh shoot.
I don't know why more people aren't looking at this, but why isn't it playing? Is there a the Bluetooth? That's what it is. Hold on. You know, I have so many phones and I never know what's connected to what and who and why. Those were going to, okay, here we go. Yes. All righty. See, there's a receipt. And this is what I love when people say, she never has any receipts. She don't have any receipts.
Everyone knew he was the devil. Everyone wanted to go to Diddy's flight parties when they were happening. If I got an invite, I would go. But there's a party within a party. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching for decades. It must stop. Jaguar Wright is known to be a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, no, wrong. Vlad. Hey, Vlad TV, aka what's your name, bro? Vladimir Boofsky. It's Vladimir. let me get this straight, because I'm not person Ukrainian. Vladimir Lyubovny. That's his name. I don't know. I'm gonna look it up. Hey, yo, no, Vlad. This is.
Let's see what else we can see before we end this live. Let's see. Let me go and take a TV, see what you're talking about.
People when you do shit like that, bro. If that's true, they say they got the text messages, right? So all you gotta do is go to the phone company.
Sorry, guys. Internet buffering.
And if the phone company verifies that those text messages are real, guess what? If you're trying to do that, you understand what I'm saying? And you're proving, if it's proven that she lied, it's only one place for her to go. It's only one place for her to go. And that's jail or prison, period. You don't play no game like that, man. You don't play no game. Look, I'm all for the woman that Diddy did shit to. Man, lock his ass up. Obama, nigga, let's go. I'm all for that. Darwin, let's go, boy. Come on, let's go. Mama. So I'm all for that. I'm all for that. But I'm not for the cap. I'm not for the cap. You said Diddy said Cassie was lying, but he didn't have proof. He didn't show no proof. They're showing proof. They're showing proof. They're showing proof from her number and his number. They're saying, right? So again, when they go to court, they're going to subpoena those phone records. You don't think that the prosecution is going to subpoena those phone records? You damn right they is. And guess what? If they're lying, it's going to make Diddy look worse. So like I said, if she's lying, she need to take her behind straight to prison. And I'm not playing no game with that. Real talk, man. I'm fair with it both ways. I call it right down the line. I call it right down the line. If she's out here lying, she need to be flying. Point blank, period. You don't do that to nobody, man. And then she gonna tell the dude it's $3 million okay, man. Get out of here, man. What you mean it's $3 million okay? Right? The truth shouldn't have no price on it like that. If he witnessed it and it was the truth and he seen it, it shouldn't have no price. She shouldn't have to offer him no money to keep it real. Do you believe that or not? So she need to offer him money. If that's her ex, and if he really care about her, she need to offer him money to stand up for her and keep it real with her. Like I said before, man, all the people that's in here capping and lying need to be held accountable. I don't care who it is. Point blank period. All them people that was rocking around Puff that don't let the man hanging, turned on the man. I don't told y'all this already 1,000 times. All them people that was hanging around Puff that turned their back on the man that's out here capping and lying, trying to cop a plea and turn against him, they need to be prosecuted too if they're guilty of a crime.
All right, we're gonna leave it right there, y'all. Y'all heard it, man. All right, there we have it, man. For today, man, it's your boy CM the GOAT 5, man. Back with another one, you know what I'm saying? And we on to the next. We're gonna keep you all updated on this, on the Diddy got doing updates, you know what I'm saying? So subscribe, comment, subscribe to the channel, man. You know what I'm saying? Hit that cash out at the bottom of the screen. You know what I'm saying? Donate to the channel that keep everything going around this circle. You know what I'm saying? And I'm out of here. Deuces belong to the Deuce.